kittens, thank you so much for tuning in. If you have just stumbled across my video for the first time, my name is MsDorciah. I'm in love with all things beauty, fashion, and everyday life. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much. I appreciate your support. So we're going to get straight to the point here. I see so much when it comes to fashion, trending, what's trending, what's not trending, fast fashion, luxury, and everything in between. So one of the things that I'm always seeing is just about how fast fashion clothing is not quality. I agree. You may not be spending your coins for the best cotton, the highest spun silk and what have you. But I believe as long as you take care of your clothing, you'll have that $10 shirt just as long as you'll have that $100 shirt. So here's what I do to take care of my clothes. If this sounds interesting to you, let's get into the video. I didn't want to make this video long and boring. I do want to get straight to the point. So I broke it up into two categories. The first is fabric care and the second is maintenance. So let's begin with fabric care. Know your fibers. What you simply have to do is read the tags. They are there for a reason. They'll give you the two most important things, the fabric and the care instructions. Knowing your fabric will guide you on how to wash. Well, not all of us know how to care for certain fabrics. I know I didn't. Here's a simple breakdown. There are two types of fabric, natural and synthetic. So let me give you a simple list and I'm going to read from it. Natural, which is basically organic, meaning animal and plants. And here are a list of some natural fabrics: cotton, wool, silk, cashmere, linen, and bamboo. Synthetic, which is basically polymer, which basically begins their life in a tube. They are polyester, acrylic, nylon, rayon, lycra, and spandex. Now these are just some. They're not all of them. Once you know what fabric and the care instructions, now let's wash. This is also good for those who like to wash their clothes before they wear them. So here's where it varies. You might say how? Well, it varies depending on what detergent you use, your washing machine, and what cycle you use to wash on. Let me start with detergent. Of course, we all know there are two types of detergent: powder and liquid. I personally only use liquid right now, but I was a powder girl for a very long time. I veered away from powder because I started to experience powder residue on my clothes and found myself rewashing. I just knew that there was something wrong with using powder. I switched to liquid. I know now, but do you know that 90% of us is using too much detergent? Yep, I was that one. And as I reflected on my issue with powder, I now realize that I was the problem, not the powder. So I say this to say, read the manufacturer's recommendation for the amount of powder or liquid to use. And surprisingly, it's not as much as we all use. More doesn't necessarily mean cleaner. We're just adding a lot of detergent, which means our machines have to overwork themselves. And if we pre-treat before, like if we have some stubborn stains, if you pre-treat before, you don't need a lot of detergent. I didn't even think that way. But also too, that kind of varies because depending on what you're washing, if it's heavily soiled, then you adjust for that. Hopefully now that you understand about detergent, let's choose the right cycle and temperature now. So let's go back to knowing our fabric. So remember there are two types, natural and synthetics. Natural are your animals and plant-based. Synthetics are basically born in a tube. Because natural fibers are organic, they are stretched to form fabric. So because of this, when it gets wet or heat is applied, what does it want to do? It want to shrink back. Now synthetic, because it is basically born in a tube, you can apply water or heat and nothing will happen to it. Now the only caveat to natural fibers is if you get it already pre-shrunk. So knowing your fabric will guide you in understanding what cycle to wash on, what temperature to wash in, and whether or not you want to dry it. I have different methods for different clothes. And so far this is working for me, so I want to share it with you. For items that are like my intimates, my socks, my everyday items, I still wash and dry according to the fabric. But where it changes is my work attire and pieces that I want to have around for a little while. I give them a little more TLC. I'll start with my bras. A lingerie bag, something like this, in my opinion, is important to preserving the integrity of your bras, especially if you have some with underwire. And I'll tell you this, sometimes the dryer is your enemy with your bras, if you especially don't have a lingerie bag. And I love that these come in varying sizes and shapes. You can even use this for like a very delicate sweater or something like that you don't want to get snagged on something else in your laundry. These will be your BFFs. Trust me. Also, any blouses or sweaters or slacks that you wash, I hang them all up to dry. I do not put them in the dryer. I don't care what the care instructions say, if you can or you can't. I just don't dry them. If you have the room, hang them up. I am fortunate enough to where my laundry room has some wire racks. So for everything that I want to air dry, I'm able to hang them up in my room. But a space-saving option would be to get a collapsible drying rack. I'll insert a picture of one right here. These are absolutely a must in my opinion, especially when you are space deprived, you don't have much room. It's beautiful that you can bring it out when you need it and fold up and put it away when you don't. You'll thank me for this one. Here's a dryer tip. It is best to fold your clothes or hang them as soon as they're done drying. The longer you leave them in the dryer, the more wrinkles your clothes are going to have. And also another tip, if you are one that does not like to use dryer sheets, these wool dryer balls are perfect. They cut down on dry time and also helps cut down on the amount of wrinkles your clothes will have once they are done drying. I absolutely love these. All right, so the last portion of this is maintenance. Maintenance, in my opinion, is how you take care of your clothes in between washes. And also whether it is from wear and tear, or if you are like a lot of us that will wear an item maybe 2 or 3 times before you wash it again. In between those times, you want to take care of it. So for wear and tear, you know how sometimes you have, it's not for all fabric, but you know how sometimes when your item is rubbing up against something, you get those little peels or piles on your clothing? Do yourself a favor and get yourself it's a fabric shaver. This right here is a godsend. I remember my very first one. It was a very tiny one, but now look at the size of this. This is in my opinion one of the best inventions for clothing. There is no reason why in 2023 you should be walking around looking like you have been rubbing up against an SOS pad. Get you a fabric shaver, sis. Pieces you may not wash right away. I know that even for my jeans, even some of my tops, you know, if I didn't soil it, I am not going to wash it right away. I will try and get at least 2 or 3 more wears out of that before I wash it. So in between that time, before I get ready to wear it again, I always keep some type of fabric refresher on hand. So I'll just spray it down. Actually, when I take it off, I'll spray it down, I'll let it dry, and I'll hang it back up. And before I get ready to wear it again, I'll spray it one more time. I don't know about you guys, but I still love to iron. I still have an ironing board. I have a beautiful iron, and I also have a steamer. I'm going to insert a picture of my steamer and also a clothing rack that I use to steam my clothes. So when I get ready to wear something again, if I don't want to pull out my ironing board, I'll pull out my steamer and my garment rack, and I'll steam it. It cuts off so much time. I definitely love the versatility of having an iron and a steamer. I think they both have a time and place in your wardrobe. Everything that I listed, I am going to link it down in the bottom. It's all in my Amazon storefront. In my opinion, if you follow these simple steps, that item, again, that you paid $10 for can last you just as long as something as you pay $100 for. It is all in how you take care of it. Take a little bit more time. Read your tags. Again, that tag is there for a reason. Familiarize yourself with the types of fabrics and how they wash and how they launder. It just takes a little bit more effort, and I promise you will thank me for it. You made it this far. Girl, thank you. You know you're part of my tribe now. Thank you so much for hanging in there. I appreciate it. I hope that this was helpful. Like I said, you know, I wear fast fashion. I do have pieces that, you know, I have invested in, and I like to take care of them all equally. You know, I don't, because I only paid this amount of money for something doesn't mean that I'm going to treat it any different than if I spent a little bit more money on it. I'm going to take care of them all equally. I don't know about you, but I don't buy stuff. I don't buy clothing just to throw it away, or in the back of my head, you know, I say to myself, okay, I didn't pay that much for it. It's okay if it shrinks or whatever. No, I spend my money for it. I'm going to take care of it. I want to have it around for as long as possible. If you found this video helpful, please consider giving it a thumbs up and sharing it. I would appreciate if you were sharing to help someone else out. If you have not yet subscribed to me and you have been watching my videos, what you waiting on? What are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? I would love to have you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Also, if you'd like to, I am on every other platform. You can visit me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Thank you so much again. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.